Hey folks, welcome back to Let's Play Ghost of Tsushima. I'm the Mysterious JG. I think I tend to forget how many main story missions there are. There's several main story missions per chapter. They're usually longer, more involved, have better dialogue and stuff than the side quests. So when I get obsessed with doing all these side quests and stuff, and I'm like, okay, next time we'll get back to the main story. It'll take 2 videos, and then we'll be like, no, it's not like that. It's, the balance is different from, say, this and, say, Yakuza Kiwami, where the main story content is more likely to have voice acting. It's more likely to have serious and heavy themes. But otherwise, yeah, I could be like, I've spent 20 videos doing silly side stuff in Act 3. Now it's time to do the Act 3 story. And the very first, then, 2 30 minutes videos later, we finish the Act 3 story and get into Act 4. And I'm like, oh, I'm surprised at how little there was. Well, this game has fewer acts, I suppose. But yeah, the story missions, the main story missions are a bit more involved. Oh, I was going to check between videos, like, oh boy. Okay, that's how it works. You were seen. Oh, I was going to check between videos what happens if you kill someone, and I'm sure it just says something similar. So hopefully I don't lose my ghost kill since they're stored up, but that's really the only penalty I would get. It does seem, indeed, like you are obviously obligated to get into Jin's room because there's dialogue here, and it does seem like if you there's no way we're getting out of that room and not getting spotted but through that door. See, I would have thought this was this might not be the right way to go after all. Because now that I thought maybe, oh yeah, if you take from Jin's room, you've got to. Hey ho, Kid Romy. This is Jin's room. Or is it not Jin's room? Oh, maybe I didn't end up back in Jin's room. Oh, never mind. This guy's not like.
Defeats at Granite Pass in Jogaku Temple. We believe the Ghost, is responsible for both. What do you wish to do?
We will deal with the ghost once we defeat the Mongols.
Never mind. Okay, I didn't start. I was like, oh, this. It's clear that this you can't get out through this path, and it's like, oh wait, never mind. I didn't restart where I thought I did. Not only that, but also the.
I fear they were caught or killed.
Oh, my supplies are gone because I already took them last time. But yeah, I was thinking like, oh, there's no way to get through this door. That guy's permanently standing there staring at the door, which he is. So never mind. It is the wrong path. Okay, so what do we do from our room? I guess we can go into our room, see the dialogue, and then back out. I was doing so good in the last video. I'm not gonna get all pissy and start, like I would in Wolong Fallen Dynasty when I die against the same enemy 100 times. But I am a little disappointed at how.
It's at Granite Pass in Jogaku Temple. We believe the Ghost, is responsible.
I had a good run going of actually being successful at the stealth mechanic, and now not so much. So you either wait for this guy to leave,
Of course, Lord Shimura.
or if he just stands there permanently.
The scouts we sent north never returned. I fear they were caught or killed.
Show me where they were searching.
Otherwise, there's some other way to proceed. Yeah. Okay. So his room is like a little trap, actually. Because I was thinking like, oh, obviously you have to go to his room, and now it's more like, maybe you never had to go to his room. Of course, there's going to be no open path on this level. We got to go all the way to the top and work our way down. Well, I will say one thing, though. I mean, as far as my skill is concerned, it's the same. We keep failing at the same place every time. Like, twice. I ran into the same thing both times where I was like, is this the way to proceed? So it's not like I'm consistently having difficulty dealing with the stealth mechanic. It's more like I got caught on one bit of the larger puzzle repeatedly. See, that could have been it. And it's very cool how atmospheric and detailed this game is with us creeping around so many cool ass places. Oh, look at all that leather. Alright, well anyway, this is where we're supposed to be going, I'm sure. Oh, there we go.
Where he can see it.
Like, stick it to his face. Punch him and knock him out and leave it on his face. It says, "Dear Lord Shimura, I love you. Signed, your nephew." Oh, he just warped right in.
He's here. Guards!
It's me, Margaret.
Uncle, forgive me for not facing you in person. The Khan's fleet has gathered at Port Izumi.
If we work together, you can defeat them with honor, and I can defeat them with poison.
The ships are loaded with poison that will devastate the Shogun's army. But when the next storm arrives, I plan to kill the Khan and sink his fleet. I ask that you join me. I hope we can meet again. If not as father and son, then as warriors who have walked different paths.
Me,
Whatever you
fighting
believe I've
for
become,
evil and poison. You, for
I
honor.
will always be your family.
Love, Julie Newmar. You know, someday if if Bronco ever develops a virulent poison that Vulture Clan's enemies end up using against us after he uses it to kill a bunch of them, I hope I'm more understanding than an uncle that this guy's been. Eternal blue sky. See, this is why we named our horse Sky. Storm is coming. It's time to make our final preparations to strike Khotun Khan. I don't know if we'll survive, but I don't know if Lord Shimura will reinforce us. Can't turn back now. Yuna should be with your others at Jogaku Temple. I should speak with her before we end this. All right. So Eternal's blue sky. I'm guessing this really is it. Yeah, you know what? We're supposed to be the ghost. Still stick with ghost gear. Ghost gear. There is crafting resources for sale, and that's pretty much it. I think there is a place back on like the second or maybe even the first island where I could get some more banners. Or no, I can get saddles because I found banners. And I care about that not a titch. Does ghost armor mean we get an extra kill in ghost mode, or it takes fewer kills without taking damage to enter ghost mode? I don't remember. Yeah, it makes it easier to enter ghost stance. Gift from Taka to enhance attacks as ghosts, even a good friend and a good friend's final creation. So it's a gift from Taka to enhance a good friend's final creation? What? No, I'm kidding. I know that's not what they mean. All right, see you later, horse. Don't go around betraying all the women you've ever met. Oh, and if you can figure out what happened to Nobu, please, I don't know, write me a letter and leave it where I can find it later using your horse stealth. Because I have forgotten how Nobu got killed. I mean, it must have happened as a plot event, because we've been able to summon a horse this whole time. It just was not... I think he got killed maybe while we were escaping, like trying to rescue Taka. I don't remember. It was probably supposed to be a really emotionally impactful moment, and it would have been, except that I did not enter. And I'm surprised by this. I'm as surprised as anyone. You go watch Bobo's channel. We're playing. He's playing Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, and with me on guest commentary, and we had a running gag, or I would be doing this goofy voice for one of the familiars that the heroine of that game has, and even when he switched to a different familiar, I'd occasionally have like, hey boss, you want to switch back to me? I'm a better familiar than the one you're using now. Like I had this running gag. If we had this running gag, a la The Villain, which was a I'm blanking on the name of the actual star of The Villain. It was a low budget Western comedy starring a fairly famous actor whose name I'm blanking on, and a reasonably famous actress as the woman that he was trying to kind of capture for ransom and also seduce. But there's a character in The Villain. I'm way off script now. There's a character in The Villain called Handsome Stranger who's played by Arnold Schwarzenegger, and it was like before Arnold was famous. It's like probably right around the time Pumping Iron, and it was after Hercules in New York where he was dubbed. So it's Arnold doing his own voice, but this is like before Terminator and Predator and a bunch of other stuff that made him famous. And that has the horse, I think, is named Midnight in that movie, but the villain is the main character. That's part of the joke. It's called The Villain, but it's a very cartoonish movie where the villain is hatching all these traps and tricks to get Handsome Stranger and the beautiful woman, and they keep failing. But his horse named Midnight kind of has a lot of personality. It doesn't actually talk, but like they stage all these things with like the horse will like use its hoof to like stop him from proceeding when he's about to walk out and get spotted by the hero, and like he talks to the horse a lot and blah blah blah. If I had done a recurring thing where Nobu the horse had the voice of Nobunaga and Nobu the horse kept giving Jin shit and like talking and making fun of him throughout the adventure, like Tina Medina making fun of the Avatar, then I would have become more attached to Nobu. Somehow, even though it seems like an obvious thing that I would have done, I didn't do it. And therefore, I just never got connected to Nobu the way I probably should have.
We are doomed.
Don't say we're doomed. The game's almost over. I mean, there's the DLC left to do. But it couldn't possibly take as long as the unending, incredibly, brutally boring Omega DLC from Mass Effect 2, so, it's probably longer than the DLC from Mass Effect 2. Any one given DLC from Mass Effect 2, because there is a whole fucking bunch of DLCs. I have no idea how long to expect the DLC of this game to be, actually. Because it was free. I don't even know for sure.
Took you so long?
Well, I couldn't kill anybody. I'm not used to that.
My lord.
Bowing? Will that make you feel better? No, she's still pissed. Alright, let's talk to Yuna. Find out which way her heart can go.
You had us worried. I thought you'd been caught.
Delivering my message wasn't.
Hi, I'm not a script man.
Did your uncle read it? Will he help us defeat?
Yes, I know he did because I was there for the cinematic in which it happened.
But we can't wait to find out.
Is that guy supposed to be in this scene? I don't think he is.
The storm will be here by morning.
Hi.
Siege weapons?
It's like he's
Enough to cause
added
plenty
through
of
post
damage.
effect in a parody
Some
of a
foes and
famous
deserters
film
from the
scene where
Emperor's
like,
army who want to follow the ghost.
some wacky YouTube personality
Oh, the others
digitally
will-
inserts themselves in a scene from Casablanca as
You
part of a
should check on
sketch.
them. They want to hear from their leader.
You're right. I should be speaking to my men in a very serious way, rather than providing like random commentary that talks over the plot scenes. You are correct. But like I'm picturing like, I don't know, like the fucking guy who made Annoying Orange or whatever, digitally inserted. Like, I'm making up my own terrible YouTube content in my mind that doesn't exist. More terrible than my own YouTube content. I'm just picturing the guy who made Annoying Orange, or Annoying Orange, the actual thing, appearing in the background, like added digitally to, like, the maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but sooner for the rest of your life scene from Casablanca, and in the background someone going, "Hi, I'm here too." That's what that felt like to me. It's like, "I'm NPC. Hi, Yuna. Hi, Jen. I mean the ghost. I mean Lord Shimura." It's optional to speak with my ally. Oh man, I hate this shit because I'm gonna be worried about accidentally starting the mission. But I want to talk to all my allies. I want the story content. I want the sense that these characters are real. Even as I forget what their stories were. But I remember Lady What's-Her-Face's story fairly well, even though I'm calling her Lady What's-Her-Face. Okay. It's marking them. It's not... This doesn't turn out to be Yuna in here, and everyone else is invisible to us. So yeah, I remember his storyline. And I remember Lord Archery Guy's storyline.
Lord Sakai.
It's actually Lady... What's-Her-Face's storyline that I remember the least well. I mean, it involved hunting down the killers of her family. Turns out, like, her own sister betrayed her. The reasons why, I guess because her husband... Yeah, okay, as I talk about it, I'm starting to remember it a bit. But no, my own... the fact that I have the attention span of an infant and the memory of a fruit fly doesn't mean that the story isn't actually pretty good. So I do want to relish in a little bit here before the end. Are you using some kind of, like, special Sailor Moon power? What is with this, like, whirlwind of cherry blossoms?
It's good to have the head of Cedar Temple with us.
I would never
I hope
claim
it doesn't
such
get
an
cut
honor for
off.
myself.
I know. That's why you deserve it, my friend.
Aw.
Tomorrow we avenge your brother. And the warrior monks
Everyone
of
go
your temple.
write in the name of someone that doesn't want to be
just want
president
our
in the next
home.
election. That's the best way to vote. And I just talked over that. I just got done talking about how important it is to see these character moments, and I made a dumb crack. I guess I thought the dialogue might last a little longer than that when I decided to talk. Oh well, for whatever reason, that monk guy is the least favorite of... He's my least favorite of the allies that we've had. He's got a very... I mean, he's got a sad story. It's just... That doesn't make him a fascinating character. I like Lady What's-Her-Face because, like, from the moment we meet her, she's bitter and she wants blood. And that's an interesting approach for a female character in this particular game to have. Like, they've given us some decent female characters in a world that wasn't known for women getting to speak their mind to someone like Lord Sakai here.
Sakai.
What up, gangster?
It's good to have your bow with us, Sensei.
I gave you my word.
You've given me more than that.
You've also given me your bow.
Sakai.
As you like, Sensei. I'll let you prepare for tomorrow.
Yeah, shut up.
I prepared my whole life. One more day makes no difference.
But tomorrow is the day that we all commit to being enemies of the Shogun forever, right? So I was saying the game has strong female characters, and I need to rethink that. They have two competent female characters. It's not the same as being interesting. I think if there's just a character who was like, blood, blood, I want revenge, ah, and they were... Maybe the fact that a female character is doing that is giving them an unfair advantage. And if a guy was doing that, I would be like, what a boring character. All he wants is revenge. Yeah, I don't know. Alright, well, presumably over here is Lady, Berger. Masako? Lady Masako, I think.
Jin.
Yeah! No, it's Masako is her first name. She's Lady something else, but she's Masako. I want to say it sounded like a Akechi. It wouldn't be a Akechi. It's not a reference to the Akechi clan, but... Azumi, maybe? Can I actually talk to her without setting myself on fire? Alright.
Masako, I wasn't sure you'd come.
Call me Lady whatever my last name is.
When you needed me. But I need the Khan dead too.
He's a jerk.
We murdered my husband.
I thought your
and
sister
his
did
men
that kind of...
slaughtered my sons.
Oh, that's right.
We won't let them escape.
Her husband died in the battle.
I'll help you make sure of it.
Get some rest. Tomorrow will be a long day.
Try to keep
Or
warm.
a very short one.
It's a good day to die, but the day is not yet over. Who's left? Oh, what's his name? I can't remember any of the characters' names. I'm terrible. Kenshi? Something.
To destroy everything they can.
The goofy comic relief Saki merchant, who actually turns out to be the noblest hero of them all, since he's The only one risking his life who has no chance whatsoever in a fight if he gets cornered.
Chito and his nephew are at each other's throats.
But yeah, I'm glad he's still in the story. And like the fact that Jin might actually finally show this guy a little respect. Well, we'll see.
Here we are, my lord.
Here
You're
we
in
are.
good spirits?
Well, I'm drunk, my lord.
Of course. I've been sipping good spirits all day.
Wah,
You
wah,
said too
wah.
much. You don't want to sleep through tomorrow.
Joking aside, there's no way I would miss tomorrow. I'm here for Taka.
Yeah, the Takada.
Thank you, Kenji.
Oh, see? We actually were fairly respectful to him for a change of pace. Alright, time to get out of the drunk tank here. And now it's down to us talking to Yuna. I guess I'll throw down a save. I can't... As often happens, I started out with 100% clear in mind, and we've certainly done a pretty full clear of the game so far, but I'm definitely at the point now where I'm kind of ready to zone in on the end. So I'm throwing down a save, but I don't know what the point would be. If I ever decide, you know what, I feel like putting on the traveling gear and getting 100% map completion, like, I don't think I could do it from this point anyway. We've committed to the final mission, so this is not a particularly logical place to have a save slot for the future, but whatever. All right, Yuna.
The samurai chased
You have any last words? You've taught...
an easy victory.
Now he taught her
Wipe them out in one
not to give up, because I feel like there was probably some moments where she wanted to, although she didn't really need that much encouraging to be strong.
Let's hope.
She taught him a lot. Well, she saved his ass at the very beginning of the game. He's saved her ass since. He helped her with that whole, her scary backstory with the weird dude who kidnapped, like, you know, she and her brother were, like, held by this weirdo. Like, she had that whole backstory with the guy who was implied that he got a little rapey with her as well. So yeah, they've been through a lot together, but ultimately, like, my memory of this is, at the beginning of the game, Jin was barely alive. She kept him alive. She taught him how to not charge every Mongol he saw and to be sneaky. And that's been pretty important to the overall narrative. So let's see how they talk before the last big mission.
We've come a long way since you pulled me off Komodo Beach.
Mm-hmm.
You were so heavy I could barely drag you.
Fat ass.
Had to strip you half naked just to reach town.
Which I did enjoy.
I wouldn't be here without you.
I don't want to live without you.
I can't lose you, Jin. After everything we've been through.
It's much more likely I'll die than
we've
you will,
lost.
as far as tragic turns of the story might take.
I can't.
I have to stop the Khan.
Well, yeah, I know that.
No, you don't.
Oh?
You could find a boat. Sail somewhere quiet.
Like Mongolia.
Your uncle fights his samurai war.
You really want that?
You really think that's happening now after all this?
No.
I just wanted to question your mission at the last second.
Promise me you'll keep fighting.
You're a real bastard, Jin Sakai.
And you killed my brother.
You should get some rest.
Not yet. Let's sit. Just a little longer.
We're not sitting now. I guess we could start sitting. And they sit together. Which is not a euphemism, because not only are they outdoors in the snow, but there's a bunch of people around. So they really are just sitting together. I guess the conversation they're having now is too personal for us to be invited to see. He says, you're going to kill that Khan. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but soon and for the rest of your life. Wait. Poor Tazumi. And then the, annoying oranges digitally added in the background of their big conversation going, blah.
This is
And
it.
the millennials think it's
You have one
hilarious.
chance to take down the Khan before he attacks our mainland. Kenji, what's the status of our siege weapons?
I'm drunk, my lord. I mean, on siege weapons.
Fire on the Mongol fleet.
Good. Yuna will signal your attack. Once the volley begins, the Mongols will charge your position and run right into our ambush.
Yeah, see, that's
The
what I was talking
explosives are
about.
set up.
Archers on
Okay, well,
rooftops.
they're
with you.
going to try to flank the siege weapons, not archers on
All of you.
that one hill.
Go.
Jin,
Yeah.
there's no sign of your uncle.
That storm's not waiting. And neither are we. Get ready to fire the signal arrow. Now!
Oh, I can't move. I can move the camera and
Mongols are
almost
coming.
missed all the
They'll cut
action.
down anyone who gets through.
You know, it's a little early, but this does feel like a logical place to throw down a save and call it a video. It's interesting because, yeah, historically, as we all know, everybody in the entire world, the Mongol... Well, it gets confusing. I'm going to get details wrong. The Mongols, in quotes, I mean, it's essentially, at this point, the same as China. Like, China has been absorbed into the Mongol Empire at this point. And I think, and it's kind of interesting, like, when the Khans took over China, they essentially became the emperors. Like, China just had, you'll see this in the civilization games. Like, yeah, you could have military might, but then there's just more culture. Like, the Chinese just had culture. Like, you couldn't, if you're a Mongolian from the steppes and you come into these Chinese, like, you see, like, the artwork and the intricate, like, architecture and stuff, like, they couldn't help but be impressed. So the Mongols kind of were almost, I want to say it's the Tang Dynasty? I might be wrong. Or Ming. But yeah, like, and I get confused, like, what's the difference between Mongolians and Manchurians? Because the Manchus are a separate ethnic group from, like, other ethnic groups that are Chinese, and it all gets very confusing for a white person to just try to understand without actually doing any research or actually learning anything, really. But no, like, this game is making a big point of talking about how they're Mongolians. I remember learning about how a Chinese invasion of Japan occurred way back at this point. But like what I'm circling around endlessly for no real reason is that it's the same thing at this point. The Mongols ruled China, and the bulk of the military that came over were Chinese troops. But at this point, like, you know, China was part of this vast Mongol empire. But the point is that, yeah, this is where the term kamikaze comes from, and why kamikaze was this, like, you know, this cultural reference where, like, young untrained Japanese pilots were told, you will be the kamikaze who saves us from the imperialist Americans when they were suicide flying airplanes into American ships. It was because kamikaze means divine wind. We know kami is, well, divine, God, spirit crap, and kaze, we've learned in the last video, means wind, because that's one of the things you could name your horse. So the storm that they're talking about now, this is really cool. I was wondering how they would deal with the fact that, hey, in actual history, there was no like legendary proto ninja going around. Like, the Chinese / Mongolian army did land on 2 of the outer islands of Japan, and there were some fights there. But then when the fleet pressed on towards the mainland, it was all wiped out by a storm, which the Japanese considered the gods protecting Japan from the infidel, and it's why the term kamikaze came up later. But there was like a big typhoon that just fucking wrecked the Chinese fleet, and I was wondering how they would incorporate that, because that's fairly well-known history. And this game is having fun being, you know, reasonably historically accurate, just as far as it's not historically accurate. They're not referring, I think, to real clans and real people, but they're capturing, like, the essence of, like, what was culturally happening with samurai at the time. And it seems like this is a game made by Westerners that has won awards in Japan. Like, they did their research. So I was curious, like, well how are they going to deal with the fact that the actual thing that beat the Mongolians is a fairly well-known part of history? And here's the answer. Like, the storm doesn't sink the Mongol fleet. It provides Jin the distraction he needs to pull off whatever convoluted plot we'll be pulling off in the next video or two. So now, 5 minutes after I started outroing, I'm actually done. And when we come back next time, time is running out for Khotun Khan. He can only hope that an even more powerful adversary awaits us in the DLC, because I think when we get to Khotun Khan, I'm going to be using every cheesy technique I have to avenge the early in the game duel with him, which was unwinnable. Bye for now.